It's the BIGBOIOUT. Now party people in the club, it's time to cut a rug and throw the loose up in the sky just for the shutter buzz. I'm double fisted and you empty, you can grab a club. Boy, stop, I'm just playing, let me dap you up.
You're in my system, baby. Tell me you're listening.
Why? It's after 12 club like I.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and I'm here to recap the WNBA playoff games from last night. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, y'all, let's start with the Phoenix Mercury and New York Liberty. And the Mercury absolutely dominated the Liberty, winning that game 86-60. And a couple of days ago, I came on here and I stated that in order for the Mercury to be able to defeat the Liberty, they had to stop playing ISO basketball, have more player and ball movement, stop settling for jump shots, and be aggressive and get to the rim. Because when you're going to be against an elite defense like the New York Liberty, if you don't do those things, y'all, you're not going to have a ton of success. I mean, we saw what happened in game one, right? Satu Sabally and KFC, they were playing a lot of ISO basketball. They were settling for jump shots, and the Liberty's defense made them pay. They didn't score a lot of points. They didn't have a lot of success, and ultimately, they ended up losing that ball game in overtime because they were not able to overcome the New York Liberty's elite defense, y'all. But it seems like in game two, they decided to listen to your boy Zay. As in the first quarter, they got to the free throw line 7 times. They made all 7 free throws. But the fact that they were willing, y'all, to be aggressive, get down here and go to the basket was really great to see. We know that's Alyssa Thomas in a nutshell. We already know Alyssa Thomas, she's probably the most aggressive player in the WNBA. She's very aggressive, she's very physical, and she loves it getting down here and getting to the basket. But to see Satu Sabally and KFC do that, y'all, 2 players, you know, Satu, she loves to shoot threes. KFC, she loves to shoot a lot of mid-range shots, but to see them being able to get down here, get to that basket, generate free throws, y'all, and then even when they weren't getting to the free throw line, being able to finish around the rim. Because, you know, sometimes when you go to the basket, you're not always going to be able to get a foul call. You just got to be able to finish around the rim, finish through contact. They did that, y'all. Also, I love the play from DeWanda Bonner. I mean, in that first quarter, she had 5 points. She came in, she hit a 3, but then she also was able to get to the basket, finish around the rim. And I just love the Mercury's mindset. I mean, the entire game, y'all, they were in aggressive mode. They were in attack mode. And again, in order to beat this type of team, you have to do that. Now, we all know that the Phoenix Mercury, they love to shoot threes, right? They averaged 27 threes per game in the regular season, which was top 3 in the WNBA. And last night, they still attempted 24 threes, y'all, which I feel like is too much because, again, the New York Liberty, their defense is so elite, it's so stifling. You really don't want to shoot too many threes against them. You want to be aggressive and go to the basket so you can try to get easy baskets for your team. So it's going to be interesting to see y'all if the Phoenix Mercury bring their three-pointers down in game 3. Because I think in game 3, they're going to have to be around like maybe 10 or 15. Seriously, you really don't want to attempt a lot of threes against that type of defense. But I just love their mindset, y'all, the entire game. Because when they came out in the first quarter and were being aggressive, looking to get to the basket, I think I made a post in the community saying I love the way the Phoenix Mercury are playing right now. But let's see if they can keep it up, y'all. Lo and behold, they did keep it up throughout the entire game. And then also, y'all, 2 big stats that I saw in that game. One was the rebounds and the assists. Now, in the first game, the Mercury had 16 assists, which is fine. You know, that's not bad. But in this game, they had 22 assists, which obviously is even better. Again, it goes back to the player movement, the ball movement. Everyone was sharing the rock, getting everyone involved. Satu and KFC also did a good job of getting their teammates involved. So you love to see that, y'all. And then with the rebounding, now this was what really surprised me. In the first game, the Liberty out-rebounded the Mercury by 17. In this game, y'all, the Mercury out-rebounded the Liberty by 3. And I know 3 rebounds doesn't seem like a huge difference, y'all, but when they got out-rebounded by 17 in their first game, I mean, yes, this is great to see that, okay, they can be physical, they can crash the glass with the New York Liberty, because we know the New York Liberty, they have a very, very big, physical, imposing team, right? They got so many players on their team that's like 6'2", 6'3", and taller, so you really have to be able to crash the glass against them. That's what the Mercury did last night, y'all. So for the Phoenix Mercury, love to see it, but they have to keep this up in game 3. Again, they love to shoot threes, y'all, but they need to keep this same formula, need to keep this same aggressive mindset in game 3. If they do that, they're gonna have a really good shot of winning this series, y'all. And then for the New York Liberty, man, very disappointed really by Sabrina Ionescu. I mean, Sabrina was 3 of 18 from the floor, 2 of 8 from 3. And I get it, you're gonna have off shooting games sometimes, but I just feel like Sabrina just was settling for too many threes, settling for too many jump shots. She needs to look to get to the basket. I just said that the Mercury, they have to get to the basket. Well, Sabrina, she wanted to get to the basket because her jump shot is not falling right now. And then even last night, she missed 4 free throws. So I don't know what's going on with Sabrina, But man, it's not good, y'all. She needs to be better in game 3. Because if the if the Liberty have a chance of winning game 3, it's going to be because Sabrina Ionescu made big plays, made big shots for them. She has to get things going offensively, y'all. And then Stewie did not look good to me last night. I thought you could tell, man, that her knee is really bothering her. Now, I know after the game she said she was fine, but if y'all watched that game like I did, man, you can see Stewie just did not like she was 100%. So I'm really concerned, y'all, about the Liberty. I am. I had them winning this series in 3 games, and I still do. Y'all know I love to stick with my predictions, but I got to be honest, man. Did not like what I saw from them in game 2, particularly from Sabrina Ionescu. And then seeing Stewie out there, she doesn't look like she's really 100%. So we'll see what happens in game 3, y'all. It's going to be a very close game, going to be a hard-fought game. Again, I'm going with the Liberty to win game 3, but I would not be surprised if the Mercury won that game at all and then moved on to the second round, y'all. And last but certainly not least, the Golden State Valkyries and Minnesota Lynx. That was an incredible game. I think it's one of the greatest playoff games in WNBA history. And it looked like the Valkyries were going to pull off a major upset and force a game 3. But the Lynx were able to pull it out 75-74. And for the first 3 quarters of that game, y'all, everything went extremely well for the Valkyries. I mean, they came out on fire from 3. And a couple of days ago, I stated that the Valkyries are not a good 3-point shooting team, but they were making them last night, man, which was really huge for them because when you're going up against a team like the Minnesota Lynx, and I stated this a couple of days ago, you cannot rely on your defense. You got to be able to keep up with them because the Lynx are a prolific offense. So you got to be able to score. You got to be able to make threes, and that's what the Valkyries did, y'all. And also, the Minnesota Lynx, they were cold in that first half. Now, some of that was because of the Valkyries defense, so getting them credit, y'all. I mean, the Valkyries were very aggressive. They were very tenacious last night defensively. But some of that also was that the Minnesota Lynx were just missing, really good shots. I thought Caleb McBride had a couple of threes in the first half that could have went in. They didn't. I thought Natisha Heidemann also had a couple of threes in the first half that could have went in, and it didn't, y'all. And because of that, the Minnesota Lynx only scored 28 points in the first half, which is really astonishing to see. But again, give credit to the Valkyries, man. Natalie Nakase, she definitely had them ready to play. She understood the magnitude of this game, right? It was win or go home, y'all. They had nothing to lose because, again, the Minnesota Lynx, they were the favorite to win that series. So, the Valkyries, they were playing with house money. They just went out there, they let loose, they played free, they played hard, y'all. And they were also able to move the ball around, get some easy looks when they weren't making threes. I thought Veronica Burton, she did a good job of being able to get into the paint and then kick it out, dish it out for a 3, or get into the paint, make a layup, make a floater. So I just love the way they played offensively. We know they're a really good defensive team, but I love the way they played offensively in that first half, y'all. Then in the third quarter, the Minnesota Lynx, they were still, kind of struggling to score, but they were picking up a little bit, but still, they weren't their normal selves offensively, y'all. And I felt like in that third quarter, that was really the time for the Valkyries to just lock the gates on that game. And they were unable to do that. Now, some of y'all are probably like, Zay, what are you talking about? At the end of the quarter, they had a 14-point lead. But y'all, when you're going up against a team like the Minnesota Lynx, man, this is a battle-tested team. Okay, they made it to the finals last year. They know how to deal with and handle adversity. They have so many veteran players on their team. Caleb McBride, Courtney Williams, Nafisa Collier, Jessica Shepard, Natisha Heidemann. They've been here before. When you have an opportunity to just really take control of the game, you have to do that, y'all. Being up by 14 points against that team, that's not a huge lead for me. I feel like the Valkyries could have easily been up by 20 to 25 points. But they weren't, y'all. Because why? Their offense in the third quarter, okay, it started to come back down to earth. Because like I said in the first half, man, the Valkyries, they were making a lot of threes, making a lot of shots. In the third quarter, you can see, okay, now things are starting to come back down to earth for them. And then, y'all, in that fourth quarter, what did they do? They went back to them old selves. To their old selves. Is they did not make a basket until 4 minutes until the fourth quarter, which allowed the Minnesota Lynx to get back in that game. And when the Lynx had cut the lead to 5, you knew it was over. It was over, y'all. There was no way the Valkyries were going to be able to regain control of that game because they lost all control that they had. And here you go. Now you see Caleb McBride. She's making shots. Nafisa Collier getting in the paint, making shots, making plays for her teammates, right? Now the Lynx are starting to get stops defensively. They're playing with a lot of confidence. And they starting to flex their muscles and show why they've been the best team in the WNBA all season long. And then what happens, y'all? Courtney Williams makes a huge mid-range shot, which she's done time and time again throughout her career. Makes a huge mid-range shot to give the Minnesota Lynx the lead. And then, y'all, the Valkyries had a chance to win the game, right? But Selena Zanalucini, she misses the shot. The Lynx win. Okay? Now, let me say this. Incredible season by the Golden State Valkyries, man. I mean, to make the playoffs in your first season as an expansion team, that's incredible. Natalie Nakase, she won Coach of the Year yesterday. Well deserved. Veronica Burton, she was most improved player. Well deserved, y'all. But this still does feel a little disappointing, right? Because the Valkyries really should have won this game. But again, they did not take control of this game in the third quarter, y'all. And then the fourth quarter, they just got to a horrible start offensively. And while they were missing shots, what happened, y'all? The Minnesota Lynx, they got going offensively. And here's one thing you could not keep a great team down for too long. We knew that eventually the Minnesota Lynx, they were going to make shots. They were going to get things going offensively. And that's what they did, y'all. The resiliency from them. They were down by 17 points at one point in that game. Right? It would have been easy for them to say, you know what? Hey, we'll just get these these girls in game 3. We'll close it out at home in Minnesota. But they didn't do that. They just kept going, kept battling, y'all. And Cheryl Reeves, she told her team, man, we're in a dogfight. This is going to be a battle. And they did not give up. They kept going, y'all. They were able to pull out this win. Man, what a huge win for the Minnesota Lynx. Okay, because let me tell y'all, I'm almost positive. In game 3, they would have been nervous. They would have been nervous, y'all. Because if the Valkyries would have won last night, now you would have heard people say, oh, can the Valkyries pull off another upset and win this series? So this was a huge win for the Minnesota Lynx. Trust me, they did not want to go back to Minnesota, y'all. They want to close this game out in San Fran. That's what they did, man. So kudos to the Minnesota Lynx, showing their toughness, showing us their resiliency. Now they're headed to the second round of the playoffs, y'all. And for the Golden State Valkyries, man, round of applause. Incredible season. Their future is bright, y'all. Natalie Nakase, she's already one of the best coaches in the WNBA. Man, they're probably going to be championship contenders in about 2 to 4 years. Once they're able to add, some high-level players to their team, because they already have a really good, some really good role players, really good defensive-minded players. But once they're able to get, like a go-to scorer, like a 20-point-per-game scorer, then they're able to get, a complimentary player that can get you about, 15 points per game. That team is really going to be dangerous. So I love what I saw from the Valkyries this season, man, and I think their future looks really bright. And for the Minnesota Lynx, y'all, again, they're heading on to round 2. They'll rest up and they'll see who they play. And then tonight, y'all, before I get up out of here tonight, we have the Atlanta Dream playing the Indiana Fever, and I'm praying to God that my Dream were able to pull out this victory so we can advance to the second round. Then also, y'all, we have the Seattle Storm and the Las Vegas Aces. My original prediction was that the Aces were going to win this series in 2. Obviously, that cannot happen after the Storm beat them in game 2, but I think the Aces back at home, they're going to take care of business, close the series out, and win game 3 against the Seattle Storm. So there I have it, man. This was me recapping last night's WNBA playoff games, man. Give me your thoughts in the comment box below. Remember, y'all, laugh's good message or what? Make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm in it, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.
Hey, money old, I'm